Hello everybody and welcome to another Transformers third party review. Today I'm taking a look at the latest offering from our friends over at DX9. This, believe it or not, is their interpretation of Megatron. Oh, he's very, very nice. Now, MIGHTRON, as they've aptly called him, literally came out of nowhere. Nobody was expecting him at all. And have they made an impact? Yes, I believe they have. It's a bloody good Megatron. Don't get me wrong, I have a Polygon. And if you have a Polygon, would I get this? I'll cover that later. We'll chat about that when we get him changed up. But for now, he does come with accessories. He has his rather nice purple bladed sword. It's not very G1 looking, is it? But then again, sometimes DX9 do give us some rather fetching accessories. But it pegs into his hands. But then we also get an option to open this up, like so. Bring that around, bend this over, bring this down, and bend this like so, and that now looks like a handle. And then we get this section here to come in. This opens up, this bends around this like this, and this can slide in on that. And that to me looks like a large gun of some description. Is this meant to be a gun? Nothing even remotely mentioned in the instructions at all. Have I done this right? I don't know. I have no idea. But yes, there we go. That transforms into that. We get a mace accessory, which we've kind of come to expect for Megatron. Again, just slots in to where the hands is. We'll cover that when we cover the articulation, etc. And we also get an alternative, rather angry looking face for Megatron as well. We'll change that out in a little while as well. But yes, he looks very, very angry, doesn't he? Right, taking a closer look at Megatron. He is remarkably well built. He looks the part. That's a very, very good head sculpt. That is pretty much on par with Polygon. Polygon have got a fantastic sculpt going on. This is pretty good nonetheless. I do like that. And of course we can change out that face just by sliding this section out from behind like so. Pop that out. Ah, my face! Dark of the Moon all over again, look. And then slide that on. Ah, there we go. Angry Megatron. Tell you what really stands out on this toy for me. What really stands out is the fact that we've got really nice double jointed elbows, so we can get a really nice pose, and we can put the arm out like that, and it's not going anywhere at all. We've got a lot of weight in this figure. We've got a die cast in these legs somewhere because there's a lot of weight down here, maybe in the joints, or I can't. It feels like plastic throughout, but there's definitely something going on there because there's a lot of weight. And we do get this big chunky piece of die cast handle on the back. I'll come to the back in a minute because it's the biggest letdown on this figure. If you see him from the front, that is definitely, without a doubt, G1 masterpiece Megatron. He's menacing. He absolutely looks incredible. And then he turns around to talk to his friends, and oh my gosh, look at the mess. Oh, the back is a little kibble-tastic. This just popped out. This should be in there, I think. That's kind of the back. That's how it sits. Yeah, if we just bring in Polygon. QC issues aside with some people's polygons, this is literally potato, potato, tomato, tomato. You've got this huge chunk here, is quite kibble-tastic, but then you've got this bit here, is very kibble-tastic. You want to kind of just take this body here and stick it on there, and you'd be, oh, gorgeous. But they stand approximately the same size. This is a lot smoother. The kind of look and feel to it, it isn't as metallic as Apollyon, and it's definitely a lot tidier around the lower leg section. Kind of packs the legs out without having so many layers. But that being said, Apollyon is still a very, very nice masterpiece figure, and he does look amazing stood next to Prime. It's literally user's preference, I think. That's where I'm going to stick. I'm going to stick to my guns. I'm going to say it's user's preference. I don't think you're going to be disappointed with either. Right, now please excuse the fact that my Optimus only has one smokestack. A majority of his parts have actually fallen off in my shipping crates. So we're lucky we even have an MP10 for the comparison. So yes, think yourselves lucky people. As you can see, it's a very, very good scale indeed. These guys look phenomenal together. I think they must have had a Prime there when they were designing this, because these two look like they're meant to be together on a shelf. And of course, what good is Megatron without his trusty companion, Soundwave? Again, he's a fraction taller than Soundwave, and I personally think that works. And just look at those nice big pointy fingers. Taking a look at his articulation, the head can go all the way around. It's on a swivel and a mushroom peg, so we've got a nice range of motion. Just look at that. Downward motion, it's a slight tilt there. It's not really as impressive as I would like. That's a fairly good line of sight though. Upwards again, he can talk to Devastator like, get down. That's pretty good. The arms are on soft ratchets all the way around there, so we've got no fear of anything falling down. That is a swivel pivot there. That's quite nice. The elbows rotate quite freely on a friction joint. We've got a double jointed elbow. Comes to the wrist. The wrist can rotate quite freely. We have 2 joints on each finger. These 3 here are pinned together. And as for the thumb itself is on a ball joint there, so you can rotate it around as needed, and again it has 2 points of articulation. Now when we transform Megatron, the thumbs are quite difficult to get in, so what you want to do, I'm going to get the thumbs sorted now. We can bend the thumb over at the base like so, and then you want to push it all the way over, and then you're going to push it into that gap on the hand, and then we can fold the fingers in like so. I may as well do this now because I'll show you his mace section. So flip the arm up, fold that hand back in, and just pop that down. A little secret, easy way of getting the fingers and hands back out again. Just pry the fingers up. They're super tight, super strong, so we can just pull those hands straight back out of there. So just pop that back in. Close this section off, take a look at this hand, and we can bring in our mace section. The mace section just slides into this crevice here, and there we have his mace just hanging down. And I mean, he does look menacing, doesn't he? Now the waist is where Megatron really does fall down. There's several components involved in the transformation around here, and it's quite a lump there. That's a good couple of inches in depth. We can't actually rotate his waist freely at all. If you move this section back here and drop this section down, then we can move the waist left and right, but just look at that back section. There is no way of hiding this section off. I can't bend it round, I can't flip it over. So if you're happy to have him displayed like that, twist the waist, I don't think that works. I'm sorry, DX9, it's a gorgeous figure, but I really do not think that works at all. Come down to the legs. The hip skirts are on a ball joint and a hinge, so we can lift that up quite freely around the leg. The front skirts can come up. They are actually on one straight hinge across here, and there's a hinge here and a hinge here. We use those for the transformation. So unfortunately, we do have to have both hip skirts moving up at the same time. But we do have a lovely, nice ratchet on that leg. Soft ratchet going outwards. We have in and out motion on the actual thigh, and we also have upper thigh rotation. Bend at the knee is a 90-degree ratchet. Again, nice soft ratchet there. Come around to the ankles, we have nice pivots. We have forward and backwards motion as well. I mean, there's no rotation there, but the pivot itself, that's just kind of silly. That's a lot of pivoting. So with all those levels of articulation, he's a very well-balanced figure, and apparently this is the IDW universe where Megatron and Galvatron are separate people, and it would appear that Megatron has won. I do like the inner legs on Megatron. They are very G1 animation-esque. They look nice, although there are a lot of visible screws. Maybe they could have used red screws, probably would have helped, I would imagine. Maybe it's not too late. This is a pre-production sample, so maybe it's not too late to switch those out for red screws just to kind of tidy that section up a little bit. Because other than that, he is a very sleek design. It just seems odd that they would choose to use black screws on red legs. To start the transformation process, we need to just fold those hands in like I previously mentioned. I've just realised that it looks like Megatron is absolutely horrified that he's lost his hands, isn't he? Something I really like about this DX9's interpretation is there's a lot of kind of automorphing, I guess. We want to slide the gun off for now, just slide it straight off the section. And basically with the arms, you want to just push this joint down, and this whole section here is going to just shift and collapse. I think that's fantastic. Put the gun back on there and slide that on. Let's move this arm up and let's have a look here again. Just push this hinge here, and that's going to move this entire section up. I think that's absolutely incredible. I love that. And the same goes for the shoulder sections. Push that up, and this side, push that up. And now that they're both level, you can actually collapse the arms inwards. Now, the official transformation, we have these filler sections down. You can pop this down, it slides into this red section, and it sits here to fill out that gap in the chest. Now, I don't particularly like it. I prefer it to have kind of this curved section in, but it's entirely up to yourselves. Now, for the purpose of the transformation, you do have to slide those back inside those vented sections. Once you come to Megatron's torso, and just pull this section up, and it's all going to come away from this section here, and fold his front section down. It's even a nice clear translucent plastic on there as well. It's a very nice touch, and I reckon we could store some stuff in there as well. We could probably store like a matrix or something in there. There's plenty of room. Come around to this back section here, just lift this up, and this whole front section is going to go up and over the shoulder blades and rock forwards. It doesn't show it very easily in the instructions, but you see what I did there? I hooked my fingers behind and just lifted that up and over. We can now rotate Megatron's head inside like so. You want to uncouple this section and move this down out of the way as well. It's all going to get in our way, unfortunately. Rotate the trigger sections around and pull this section up and out of the way. It just needs to be up and out of the way for now. You want to keep rotating the Megatron chest section around. These joints here are pinned, so as you rotate this round, they wiggle and wiggle and wiggle, and you want to keep going until this section here is completely flat amongst here. You can come in and close off the Megatron head, and we can bring in the pistol section, bring that in and tab that around. This section is actually going to come all the way around here. Bring this section here down, and that now allows this section to come all the way back like so. And we're going to start messing around with this section here, which all forms the underside of the trigger. Holding on to the trigger section and the pistol grip, rotate the entire upper section around. Make sure the legs are straight, otherwise you will have clearance issues with these side skirts. Looking at the rear end of the gun, move this section out and around, out and around, and there's a tab between the two there. They're going to just do a tab in together, pushing in firmly. This now allows us to move this section all the way up, rotate that round, lift this section up and rotate that around. These two can now come in and tab in nicely together like so. And this section here is actually going to slide all the way down through this joint here. But before we do that, we need to sort out this underside section. Right. I'm going to try and get all of this on camera because there's a lot going on in the inside here and the instructions aren't as easy as you'd think. Right, move this inner thigh section so it collapses in on itself because we need that extra space just to mess around in the back here. This back section rocks upwards and downwards. Basically, it's closed off, so you want to open it up and rotate that up like so. Leave this section so there's enough play in there because this section here is going to flip up and you're going to want to fold these over, and as you flip that up, that's going to slot inside this section here. So when you bring it down, it all lines up. It took me absolutely ages to figure out how to get that to work because it doesn't tell you in the instructions. So for now, let's just leave that like that. Let's come around to these legs. You want to open up the thigh joint and extend that out so it drops into the inner leg. Let's do the same on this side. So open up that thigh joint, bring that round, and it just drops into that inner leg like so. You now want to compress the legs together. They just slide in nicely. And did you see what happened there? As you compress them together, I'll see if I can uncompress them. This whole section, again, like the arms, is kind of automorphish, so it just collapses in on itself. They are going to push together. You can slide that all the way down on the inside. Come and look at these feet. Untab this section here, rotate it around, and then collapse it on the inside. Untab the feet, rotate it around, and collapse it on the inside like so. Come around to the heel, pull the heel tab section down, and then you want to wiggle the foot back inside the leg. So on a rocking hinge, wiggle that back inside, and then drop the back of the gun section down. Flip up the skirt on both sides, rotate the section all the way around, bring those back down, and now we can just start squaring sections off. This is all down as it should be. These sections here are on a rocking hinge, so you want to make sure that section is flat, and then bring this down with this section like so. Bring that down. The trigger section pulls all the way around, and these two folds that we just pop down, that just tabs on the inside of those. Once that's in, we can start pushing and locking everything together. So let's get this section in place. Let's get this section in place, and then just work this back section down and down and this section folds down and down, and last but not least, just pop this section up like so. These sections here have really chunky tabs in either side, and they are the hardest bit to forcibly push and lock together. And here he is, fully transformed up into his gun mode. Now, as previously mentioned, we don't get the handle accessory and the scope to my knowledge. Obviously, this is a pre-production sample, so this is how it has come. So maybe, just maybe, it will come with the added accessories. I mean, he came in a Tyrant box kind of wedged in, so who actually knows? Now, as I mentioned during the transformation, there are a few steps that aren't overly clear in the instructions, but we got there in the end. We got this transformed. It was just these sections here which became a bit of a difficulty, but I think we overcame it. The spring loaded trigger is okay. It's not a great resistance there, but it's definitely enough. This section here is, of course, die cast. We get the scope sections. We do get a very nice LED light. It's quite a large circle. I would have liked it to have been more of a pinpoint, but it's a very nice touch, and it's quite a nice strength as well. And of course, we just press that again to turn it off. The handle, it's quite wide, but it does fit into my very small childlike hands quite nicely, and it's just a nice looking toy. The gun mode is just nice. My son has been playing with it. If you've been following me on Facebook at Benscollectables, you'll see there's some nice pictures of him posing very much like James Bond, and he really does look the part. Now, of course, we do get sections like this on the back of the handle, which does indicate to me that we're going to get the extension sections for this and the silencer, etc. But to my knowledge, at the moment, that is not going to be a thing. This does not move. We got a safety catch around here, is it? Is this safety? I don't know how guns work. I just know that you pull the trigger and go bang, 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 bang. That's all I know. But hey, guns don't kill people. Rappers do. Yes, this is the gun. It's pretty nice. It's very solid. There's a lot of weight to the front of the gun, but due to the fact that this back handle section is so wide and you've got this strong plastic and strong joints around the back here, it is very well balanced. It's just a nice gun. It's definitely Megatron. There are no ifs and buts. And I mean, this literally came out of nowhere. No one was really expecting it from them, and DX9 have really delivered. Right, size-wise, we're looking at approximately from the back of the scope to the tip of the pistol. It's approximately 9.5 inches. That's 24 centimeters in length. Approximately 7.5 inches from the base of the handle to the top of the scope. Again, that's about 18 centimeters. And we all know girth is important. The width of that handle is about 1.5 inches, around 4 centimeters. So there we have it, ladies and gentlemen. Right, to summarize. If you have a Polygon, do you need to buy this? No, I don't think you do. I think a Polygon definitely pulls off the bot mode at the back a little bit better, and of course he does have all those added accessories. I don't think it's a necessity to get him. If you're a Megatron collector, then of course this needs to be in your collection, and if you don't actually own a Masterpiece Megatron, then yes, go out and buy this, just for the sheer fact that the price point is ridiculously cheap. For what you're getting here, for in essence, you are getting a Masterpiece Megatron, and it is a very great value for money piece. I honestly can't knock that. So yes, if you're looking for a Masterpiece Megatron, this definitely could be your option. Now, of course, we do have a Polygon. We do have the Make Toys version coming out as well. That in itself is a very, very nice Megatron. So really, as a fandom, we are spoilt for choice. I just think it's an amazing time that we have so many options for what is in essence such a small, close-knit community. Now, on the big scheme of things, Transformers is itty-bitty tiny, but we are doing amazingly well. And who knows, with this bombardment of third-party Megatrons, who's to say we haven't got a Takara Megatron 2.0 just around the corner? I'm just saying. Until next time, thanks for watching, everybody. If you've liked the video, feel free to give it a big thumbs up, share, and of course, subscribe. From myself and Megatron, thanks for watching. Goodbye.